How do you think it's going with you in my fucking face? Get out of my face.
You're not on the sidewalk.
Stop asking me how it's going. Get out of here.
on.
I'm not afraid to set boundaries. Don't do this. I'm a father of a son. No, I'm a father of a real kid.
Justin Bieber just dropped one of his most vulnerable confessions yet, and it's sending shockwaves through the internet. After a heated showdown with Paparazzi that went viral, the pop superstar revealed something that has fans deeply concerned. He's admitting to having serious anger issues and confessing that he feels completely broken inside. But this latest incident isn't happening in isolation. It's part of a much darker pattern that's been building for years. The drama unfolded outside Soho House Malibu when photographers surrounded Justin, pushing him to his breaking point. The confrontation was intense, with Justin getting visibly agitated as he tried to protect his space. "I'm a dad, I'm a husband, you're not getting it, it's not clocking to you," he shouted at the persistent photographers. His voice carried a desperation that was impossible to ignore. "I don't give a damn if you're on the sidewalk, it's not clocking to you that I'm standing on business." The raw emotion in his voice revealed someone who was clearly at the end of his rope, fighting to maintain some semblance of normalcy in his life. What made this incident particularly striking was how different Justin seemed from his usual composed public persona. This wasn't the polished pop star we're used to seeing, this was someone cracking under pressure. The video quickly went viral, with millions of viewers witnessing what appeared to be a man desperately trying to establish boundaries while being completely overwhelmed by the situation. The intensity of his reaction suggested this wasn't just about one bad day with photographers. Following the heated exchange, Justin took to Instagram with a post that genuinely worried about his mental state. In a remarkably candid message, he opened up about his internal struggles in a way that was both heartbreaking and concerning. "I have anger issues," he admitted directly, without any attempt to sugarcoat the reality of his situation. But that wasn't the most shocking part. He went on to reveal that he feels broken inside, using language that suggested he's been battling these demons for quite some time. The confession didn't stop there. Justin explained that he's actively working to grow and not react so much, indicating that he's aware of his triggers and is trying to manage them. However, the fact that he felt compelled to make such a public admission suggests that his anger issues have become a significant problem in his daily life. The raw honesty of his words painted a picture of someone who's struggling to maintain control while dealing with overwhelming internal pressure. This recent outburst wasn't an isolated incident. It's actually part of a concerning pattern that's been developing over the past few months. Back in April, Justin had already reached out to his fans with a desperate plea for privacy. He posted a video showing paparazzi following him, repeatedly saying, "Look at these guys, man," while filming their persistent harassment. "This has to stop," he wrote in the caption, revealing that the constant attention was taking a serious toll on his mental health. The fact that the situation escalated to the June incident shows that his previous requests for space were completely ignored. The pattern suggests that Justin's anger issues aren't just random outbursts, they're directly connected to the relentless invasion of his privacy. When someone is constantly being followed, photographed, and harassed, it creates a pressure cooker situation that eventually has to explode. Justin's recent admissions indicate that he's reached that breaking point, and the consequences are affecting not just him, but potentially his family as well. What makes Justin's current struggles even more concerning is his well-documented history with mental health challenges. He's been remarkably open about battling depression, anxiety, and ADHD throughout his career. These aren't recent developments, they're ongoing issues that have been compounded by years of living under intense public scrutiny. His depression became particularly visible in 2018, when paparazzi captured him crying with his head in his hands while sitting on a bench with Hailey. That moment revealed someone who was emotionally overwhelmed and struggling to cope with the pressures of fame. In his 2020 documentary series, Seasons, Justin provided even more insight into his mental health battles. He described feeling emotionally overwhelmed and not knowing how to handle the constant pressure. The series showed someone who was actively working on his mental health, but still struggling with the day-to-day reality of his situation. His recent anger issues appear to be another manifestation of these ongoing struggles, suggesting that despite his efforts, he's still fighting to maintain his emotional stability. The mental health challenges become even more alarming when you consider Justin's history with substance abuse. In his brutally honest 2020 documentary, he revealed that by age 19, he was regularly using hard substances, including MDMA and hallucinogenic mushrooms. He described reaching a point where he felt like "I was dying," which ultimately motivated him to get clean. However, addiction recovery is an ongoing process, and his current anger issues could potentially trigger a relapse if not properly managed. The progression from teenage experimentation to serious substance abuse revealed someone who was using these substances to cope with overwhelming pressure and emotional pain. Now, years later, his anger issues might be serving a similar function. They're a way of expressing the frustration and pain that he's been carrying for years. The fact that he's describing himself as broken suggests that despite his recovery efforts, he's still dealing with the underlying issues that led to his substance abuse in the first place. Growing up in the public eye since age 13 has created a unique set of challenges that most people can't even imagine. Justin became a global superstar as a teenager, which meant that his normal developmental years were spent under intense scrutiny. Every mistake, every awkward phase, every moment of growing up was documented and criticized by millions of people. This kind of pressure would be overwhelming for any adult, let alone a child who is still figuring out his identity. The constant attention has created a situation where Justin has never really had the opportunity to develop normal coping mechanisms. Instead of learning how to deal with stress and frustration in private, like most people do, every emotional moment has become public spectacle. His recent anger issues might be the result of years of suppressed emotions finally reaching a breaking point. When you're not allowed to have bad days or emotional moments without them becoming headlines, it creates an impossible situation that would challenge anyone's mental health. The pressure has only intensified since becoming a father and husband. Justin now has to protect not just his own privacy, but also that of his family. The paparazzi incident revealed someone who is desperately trying to establish boundaries around his family life. "I'm a dad, I'm a husband," he emphasized during the confrontation, making it clear that the stakes have changed. He's no longer just protecting himself, he's trying to create a safe space for his wife and child. This added responsibility might actually be contributing to his anger issues. The protective instinct that comes with being a father can intensify emotional reactions, especially when someone feels like their family's safety or privacy is being threatened. Justin's recent outbursts might be manifestations of this protective instinct combined with his existing mental health challenges. The result is someone who's struggling to balance his public obligations with his private responsibilities as a family man. Despite the concerning nature of his recent admissions, Justin has been actively working on his recovery and mental health. He's been open about using faith as a foundation for his healing process, and he's worked with mental health professionals to develop coping strategies. His marriage to Hailey has also provided him with a stable support system that wasn't present during his earlier struggles. However, his recent confession about feeling broken suggests that despite these positive influences, he's still fighting significant internal battles. The fact that he's able to recognize and admit to his anger issues actually shows significant growth from his earlier years when he was more likely to dismiss or downplay his problems. His willingness to be vulnerable about his struggles indicates that he's taking them seriously and is committed to addressing them. However, the intensity of his recent language suggests that he might need additional support to work through these current challenges. Justin's story represents a cautionary tale about the hidden costs of fame, especially when it begins during childhood. His current anger issues and feelings of being broken are the result of years of accumulated pressure, trauma, and missed opportunities for normal emotional development. The paparazzi incident that sparked his latest confession wasn't just about photographers being intrusive, it was about someone who's been pushed beyond his limits finally breaking down. The real question now is whether Justin will be able to get the help he needs to work through these anger issues before they cause more damage to his mental health or relationships. His admission is a cry for help, and hopefully it will lead to the kind of intensive support that he clearly needs. The alternative, continuing to struggle in silence while trying to maintain his public image, could have devastating consequences for both him and his family. What's most striking about Justin's recent confession is how it strips away all the celebrity glamour to reveal someone who's genuinely suffering. Behind the fame, the money, and the success is a person who feels broken and is struggling with anger issues that are affecting his daily life. His story serves as a reminder that mental health struggles don't discriminate. They can affect anyone, regardless of their success or resources. The question now is whether the support system around him will be enough to help him heal, or if this is just the beginning of a much more serious breakdown that's been years in the making.